Hey, how long was I off for? I just looked and I heard like my voice being played back, and I realized that the live feed had ended. Well, I'll just keep on going. Keep on going, unless it's been, because I can keep going, guys. I mean, it's the kind of thing that we, if everyone needs to call it quits early, then I'm cool. I've had a great time here, but I'm still pretty jazzed about continuing here. Am I in the right? Oh. Okay, good. All right. Thanks, Tom. 'Cause I was freaking out. I was like, "What the hell?" Okay, lips are interesting because giving them life is always a bit of a challenge. Kind of like eyes too. I remember I always meet. I guess if I've seen recurring issues with beginning sculptors or people who just blind spots. It's sometimes I always notice people just can't get eyes right, and I think it's funny. My brother and I were talking about an old anatomy book we had, Peck's Anatomy, which is one of if you don't know about it, that's definitely one to look up. Peck's Anatomy, but there's this wonderful drawing of an eyeball. And one of the pages says "eyeball always wet," and it's a disembodied eyeball with this little, I think there's a droplet coming off it or something, but it's, the best way I heard an eyeball described, which is kind of funny because there are no eyeballs at all when I'm sculpting. But I remember this, my painting instructor John Foote told me, not me personally, but he told the class that when you're doing an eyeball is a fishbowl. It's like this globular, translucent thing with a thingy thing inside of it, and that's always what I try to communicate to people, because there's just the dimension of like the eyeball. That's one thing, and then there's the corneal bulge, and then there's with the way the eyelids sit over the eyeball. I've met people who just couldn't get that because they always, again, I'll use the back of her head as an example. Sorry, it's terrible. But I've known people who, let me close up, zoom in, but they'd always, sculpt a reasonably okay face, but they'd always draw the eye in like an eye, like the symbol for an eye. So you have this weird sort of like paramecium shaped thing. Now that people know not everyone knows what a paramecium is, but they'd always sculpt it like as if it was etched into their face, like flat like that, and then they'd render in a pupil that was sort of like this.
Yeah, it's like, no, don't do that way.
And then they put in they sort of indicate an upper and lower eyelid, and it's just like, no, don't do it that way. It looks like a zombie. Actually, it looks like. I'm sure some of you have seen the movie The Manster, about this guy who grows a second head on his shoulders, and first time he realizes that something might be a little peculiar is when he pulls down his shirt and there's an eyeball growing on his shoulder. Kind of what it reminds me of. The Manster. Oh my God! I remember I actually got sort of nauseous when I was watching that film. The scene when the other head starts bulging out of his shoulder. It's this kind of weird, deformed monkey-like thing that grows out of his shoulder. I remember I was eating some kind of tortilla, or something like that, and it wasn't a very good tortilla. It was very leathery, and I just remember when his head starts like bulging out. It's got this weird sort of like movement. Like, I remember I literally felt sick. So, well, more kinder trauma for you. And we're talking kinder trauma. We're talking childhood, like just ugh. things that really fucked me up when I was a little kid. We could just go on for days and days. I think just horrified and traumatized by things as a kid is kind of where all of this comes from, or a good deal of it. Worms, parasites, oh god. Sounds in the night. I remember, oh god, I'd be up all night in bed, as a kid. And I slept in the same room as my brother Dan, and he could just fall asleep. All he had to do was lay his head down on the pillow. He was out. I tossed and turned the entire damn night and having the weirdest auditory hallucinations, which mostly were comprised of casual conversations, just right intimate, but right out of the range of, not knowing where it was in the room, and not really thinking it was anything unusual until it turned into screams and shouts, right in the room, and then it would go right back to mumblings and mutterings. After the shouting, you just hear, oh god. Okay. God, I love this clay tonight. Like I said, I'm gonna hope with any luck I'll finish this later on, and I want to get this, clean it up, mold it, cast it up, and hopefully have like something that I can make available to kind of commemorate this evening of fun and frolic.
Questions?
Don Taggart says he was traumatized by Jerry Lewis transforming into the Buddy Love and Nutty Professor. Oh my God. It was mostly colored lights shining on him, but something about it freaked me out big time. I get it. Weird things used to freak me out, just like that. Or if I saw them now, I'm like, what was my damage? But something about it, Living after midnight, rocking till the dawn. Well, we don't know yet. I can watch you days without sleep, says Manos. Well, Manster. So I'm just scrolling up through the comments. Here. Let's see. I'm asking, do you visit Japan often? I've never been to Japan. It is one of the great failings of my life so far. It is a little weird. Just as weird as the fact that I don't speak a word of Japanese. It's just one of those weird things where apparently, according to my parents, me and my brothers are in the world, and they said, should we raise them bilingually? Thought about it for a bit. Oops. Oh, sorry. Keep on I really should have some kind of weird GoPro or something like that. Something on my shoulder, like the Predator's laser cannon or something. Just because I'm always trying to. This camera keeps getting on the phone keeps getting skewed over from whenever I'm checking things out, questions and things. So I'll figure this out, and whenever and however I do this next, I'll come more prepared. This is. Again, just drawing in details, just making sure that one does wonder where all these images in your brain, what reservoir all these things fly into, because obviously you get influenced by other artists, you get influenced by nature, and so you've got kind of an idea in your head as to how you want things to look. But again, where does all that come from? Where does all that? Why does something look right? What is something? Why do you say, okay, I want to go in this direction, and this has to be translucent, and this has to be leathery, and this has to be, And sometimes I get an articulate answer from people. Some people are very kind of nebulous about it. Like I asked, maybe I'd ask someone like Axel. He did these fantastic designs with his brains and things, and it's like, Axel, what were you thinking when you did this piece with these bear claws and these skulls and things? Usually I don't know. I just got really high one night, and this is what came out in the morning. It's like, oh, okay. I'm not going to argue with that. But I don't know. It's I guess back to the an earlier topic. I don't. How do I say this? I don't work well if I'm high. It's the kind of thing that I know people who become these. They just get supercharged when they smoke something, but it shuts me down. So I just found that for what I do, the stuff that I do, I'm always having to learn this over and over again. Is that where this stuff comes from? There's a degree of there's a bit of a reservoir of rage and more unpleasant things going on in my head, and that provides a certain degree of motivation, the thing that keeps me going. And once that's unplugged, I don't know. It's I can still do stuff, but it's not the same. Nothing feels the same. I'm just a pair of hands doing stuff, So I found like it's sometimes like who was it? Was it Nietzsche says you shouldn't exercise the devil lest you exercise the best part of yourself. I probably just mangled that. Questions? Do you still experience those conversations turning into shouts when you try to sleep at night? I don't. I almost kind of miss them. No, that was strictly grade school. That was fourth grade was I in? No, that was little kid stuff, and I haven't had I'd say a night terror or a nightmare on that level, or had auditory hallucinations that I'm aware of, unless all of this is a hallucination. Ooh. But no. It's my dreams have been kind of boring lately. My dreams feel like an alternate reality. Going to a mall, or I'm hanging out with my friends, or whatever else, and it's cool. But my actual life is actually more interesting than my dream life at this point. It's I don't know what to say about it. But nightmares, night terrors, seeing things move in the dark around here. I've never seen a shadow being. I wish they'd visit more often. There's something about living where I'm living right now. There's something about being here in Studio City that precludes all that kind of stuff. And I'm let me oops. And I do sort of miss it. And it's I gotta say, like the conversations I've had with friends and just people in general, the one thing that gets me really just gets my full attention, and just I could go on all night, when we talk about dreams, nightmares, hallucinations, things that we've seen, walking through a house and there's something standing there in the hallway. I love all that stuff. Let me see it. Okay. Tom says, I've seen some things, man. I've seen some things. Mr. John Payne, hello. This is, yes, this is indeed Tan Chavant. I was, oh, thanks, John. Yeah, things is becoming really cool and unique, Paul. Yeah, it was just, and I'm glad, I'm feeling pretty good about the way it's going. Chris Bolton says, the big blue monster at the beginning of the Muppets used to freak me out. It moved too realistically for a puppet, and I was disturbed by this. Love it. Yeah, I'm gonna throw in some of the little thin worms now. Whoops-a-daisy. Right. More clay spaghetti. Yeah, that's oops. The ambient sounds of 101. Yeah, some people listen to whale sound effects. I love listening to the 101. And guinea pig sounds. Okay, let's see. Okay, where the hell did I put that on? Oh. Whenever you ask yourself, where the hell did I put that sculpting tool, it's usually closer than you think. Always check your pockets. You know, when I started picking up on techniques for sculpting, that's a good question. I think a lot of it's just from reading lots of special effects magazines that I grew up in. I don't think I still have it. Oh God, I remember just finding whenever I could back then, because it wasn't this information wasn't near, obviously we're talking the 70s here, so things weren't nearly as readily available as they are now. But I remember there was a science fiction book and comic store in Princeton, New Jersey, called, I believe it was called E equals MC squared. I believe that was the name of it. It's not a big store, but that was a revelation to me. It's the first time I saw Starlog magazine. I remember walking in there, and there was on the cover there was, you know, Rick Baker surrounded by all the incredible melting man heads he had done. I'm like, what is this? And I remember getting a magazine called it was something to the effect of Cinemagic, Cinefex. It was one of those kinds of titles. It was all about how to make they had an entire article on how to make stop motion animation armatures out of like erector set parts and things. They easily in store-bought items and things, and that was cool. And there was an article in the back about how they made how to make full-body monster suits and things. Like it was a creature from the film The Alien Factor, and they were basically showing how you sculpt and cast up the torso and chest region in latex and all that. It was pretty amazing. But that's the stuff that I grew up with. Well, you know, whatever I could find, wherever I could find it, because it's just at the time, you know, you're thinking, you know, everyone in Hollywood must be using some weird miracle material to sculpt with. It's something that, you know, the hoi polloi was denied somehow, and yet if you reach the stratum of ability, you're granted this miracle sculpting medium. And of course, you know, once I got into the world of production and all that in regards to, you know, TV commercials and the like at the time, everyone was using Super Sculpey. It was like, oh, okay, that's you know, it was a bit of a lesson actually. You know, it doesn't matter what it is; it's what you do with it. Okay, how are you looking there? But this brings me to another subject as to how I got into using Super Sculpey the way I'm using it now, and what really brought it home for me, what really told me that you could do amazing stuff with that material was it was in an issue of Hobby Japan X. It was one of the larger, you know, the magazine-sized format things they did back in the 90s, and they had a whole section devoted to a Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator sculpture done for the kit that was released by Horizon Models, I believe, and it was done by the legendary sculptor Moto Hata in Super Sculpey. I could see it was Super Sculpey, but it was so precisely sculpted. I mean, everything from the leather jacket, the seams in the leather jacket, the zipper in the leather jacket, to the machine parts of the endoskeleton that were showing through his face, and the pores and the skin. I'd never seen any. Until I saw that, I had no idea that you could achieve that level of detail with Super Sculpey. And I thought, wow, geez, I better rethink my approach here. So that's kind of what it all comes back to, is just seeing those photographs of what he'd done. But yeah, he is missed. Just trying to be sure I know what I'm doing here, because I don't. So it's that. There's that. There's changes I'm going to be making afterwards later. I'm just kind of winging it here right now. But as far as like Okay, wait. I see what's going on. Get back to questions and comments in a second. Just trying to open up this sinus a bit more. Now, the whole point, hopefully, once I actually get into this later, I really want to make these cuts really deep, and so you get the sense that it's sort of a lattice work of tendril things that are flowing up from her face, and it's kind of like a basket inside. Though I do say I will have to eat something pretty soon. I'm running on empty. Well, I do have a bowl of Fruity Pebbles waiting for me at the end of all this. I don't know. It's like I just I still get every goofy kid cereal there is out there. I just it's something I never grow out of. Like, yeah, I know. And I say that when the going gets weird, the weird buy Lucky Charms. But favorite cereal? These I don't know. I always go back and forth. You get to the point in life when you realize you've become an adult because you buy those breakfast cereals with a plain white and blue and red boxes with no mascot or no spazzy little colors on them at all. It's good. It's really good stuff, but it's it's Smart Start, or it's or some granola hybrid thing. I eat lots of weird granola. Okay, questions. Good amount of questions and comments. So pardon the shuffling here. I'm just scrolling through. Ross Talent says the sleep paralysis conversation we had on your thread last week is yielding some new illustrations soon. Excellent. Yeah, and again, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anyone's name or I skip like a comment or I miss a comment or something. Oh, thanks, Manos. George is watching. I'm opening a third eye. Okay. This is a new forum record. Oh no, how long are we going for? I can keep going, but I will have to take a break soon because I have just not eaten anything. I've had lukewarm coffee and that's it. I better get some more coffee. Okay. Lilia's watching. Yes, the gloss has prevailed. Okay. I'm gonna jump back in the sculpture. The Motohata, the Horizon Hulk. That Hulk was that was amazing. That thing. Yeah, no, that was really mind-boggling stuff back then. Oh, thanks, Tom. Wasn't sure where I was going either. No, it was just one of those things where I thought, David King Pagliari is watching. Hey, David. This time Ross says, next time you do one of these sessions, I'll buy you a voodoo doll. Oh, yeah, those voodoo dolls, man. Oh, my God. Thanks. Brand plates with a Paul Komoda sculpted minifigure inside. Oh, my God. Yeah, I would so love... I mean, it's a lost art, the art of sculpting cereal, breakfast cereal toys, premiums, but... boy, I'd love to do that. Those in the know, we all know, those who couldn't wait, we had to like pour all the cereal into a bowl and get the prize out. I don't even know what cereal it was. Remember, they had dinosaurs wait, am I kissing? They had little plastic dinosaurs in the cereal, and they weren't even in like little plastic baggies either. They were just thrown in there with all the cereal bits. And so I remember my mom. Pouring it all into one of the big metal bowls we had, and there were these little feet sticking up, and there was a little lizardy-looking dinosaur. It wasn't even a dinosaur; it was a little lizardy guy. I'm completely spacing on the name of. There goes my street cred. My paleo street cred is ruined. And there were the MPC figures, the ones that you see. That originated from the Marx figures of dinosaurs and prehistoric animals that you see knocked off to this day. And there must be like, what is it, are they on their 10th generation now? That T-Rex looks positively goofy at this point. It's got these big gangly arms, and this head has this weird shape to it now, and there's that weird pteranodon that looks like an Archaeopteryx. It's all feathered, which, who knows, maybe actually did have feathers. But what I love about dinosaur sets these days, and I posted about it last week, is because it's one at the local drugstore, is they slip in this thing that's basically Godzilla, and I love it. It's like this sort of almost, it's got more of a 70s T-Rex look to it, but it's got the Godzilla spines, and it's definitely Godzilla's head. But they just dropped it in with a bag full of more or less, legitimate dinosaurs. I think that'll warp a couple of kids' brains. I would have lost bladder control if I found Godzilla in a dinosaur bag as a kid. But you got to remember, there wasn't very... I mean, now it's an embarrassment of riches, but you can find Godzilla anything, really, when you're a kid. Except for the Aurora model kit. Chris asks, what size do you feel most comfortable sculpting? That's a good question. I gotta be honest, I love sculpting one-to-one these days. Oh boy, and honestly, my favorite clay is not the clay I'm using. I think I really fell in love with using wed clay. That started back when I was working on Shrek the Musical with Mike Marino back in 2008. We were doing the hand gloves for the yoga characters for Shrek himself, and I am spacing on the female character's name, but big troll hands. And I remember I did the first pair of Shrek's hands in Chavant, and they came out good, but it took forever with the density of the material, and so we had to do the female troll's hands, and said, screw it, let's use wed on that one, and I just breezed through those things. And wed, I can't recommend that stuff more. I mean, it's stuff that when you first get into it, it's squelchy and sludgy. You don't know what the hell it is. It's like, how can anyone do anything with this stuff? But the trick is you let it dehydrate for about a day or so, or however long, and you get the best texture on the surface. You can sculpt as detailed as anything you can do with this thing, and you get a bit. And again, you get a nice kind of resistance. All the little bits of particulate matter fall away really cleanly. Because I remember sculpting. We were doing like I said, we were doing prosthetics for the Shrek musical. So there were a lot of cartoon animal heads we had to do. Heads. Well, I did one head actually, but they were mostly like muzzles, like bear muzzles and things like that. And I remember I did this bear nose for a character, and just doing all the little textures in that bear nose with a tool like this and all that was just bliss. It was like this. I love this clay, but it's been a long time since I worked with this stuff. It's just I think the last time I did was last time I worked with wet clay was on an aborted creature suit gig I was on that we had really little time to do it. I think we had to kick the suit sculpture out in a week, and we were making really good time. The thing was looking really good for an independent film. At the last minute, the client said, "No, we ain't going with this," and they pulled out their funding. They pulled the whole plug on the whole project and left us high and dry, which kind of sucked. But I've been dying to. It's out of my range right now. But I've got a big foam casting of a head over Don Yonder. So whenever I get the chance, I really want to start sculpting some mask designs. That's really kind of where I'd like to go. Yeah. Just get a big blob of wet clay and do something really fucked up. Because I just love masks. I don't have a collection of masks really. I've got courtesy of Mikey Rotella, I have a Fang face mask. I've got Unleash Wickedness, both from Be Something / Zagoni Studios, and I just love the hell out of those damn things. But I think if things had gone differently, I probably would have been a big mask collector. But I don't know. Maybe really get back into that. I mean, there were things I had that I had a Fang face. I had a brown Fang face mask way back in the '80s during my high school days, and I had a Sargoth Cobra mask from Don Post. So it should stress that there are no eyes on this piece, and so if anything looks like an eye, then it's strictly pareidolia. That's not pareidolia, as if it's already a face there. I don't know. Is pareidolia when you see faces? I'm not going to get into that.
Questions?
Chris says I should talk to Justin Mabry, Trick or Treat Studios, and get some masks made. Damn straight. No, I'd love to. Which is, Manos asks, which is your favorite monster that you sculpted? I don't know. Tom Savini has done designing masks for them. Yeah, no, I think I've seen some of those things. Manos asks, did you sculpt a Nova Express right from your mind without reference? Only reference I had was my drawing. I did a very loose drawing way back in 2009 that my friend Norm Myers, who commissioned the piece from me, he really always took to that piece. So I had this one view of this very loosely drawn creature that gave me enough room to play. So I think I did a couple of pose turnarounds at the very most, but for the most part I just kind of winged it. I thought there's a lot to play with here. He's got a big sack-like head, and he's got these tendrils coming out at the side of his face. And it's got the Iggy Pop body with all these horrible, kind of genital-like tails sprouting off hither and thither. So it's everything just kind of flowed. Dream come true watching you sculpt. Thank you, man. I'm always hopeful. I'm grateful that anyone's watching me do anything here. Okay, just give me 1 second. I just need to hydrate because I'm on the verge of crumbling into dust. Where the hell did I put my coffee cup? Oh. I'll be back in a moment. There's other stuff. Bubble wrap. Okay, well, oh my god, wait, is it 12? Wait a minute. It's almost that magic time, guys. Okay, you know what? I could go another half hour. It's 12 o'clock midnight now, virtually. I'm cool. But there will be a point when I just start babbling incoherently, so I'm probably going to cut it off before I start doing that. But, whoops, you can't see a thing. But this has been fantastic. Again, thank you, Brandon and Jared, for letting me just improvise and just be ridiculous. It's
12 o'clock.
It's 12 o'clock. I can go on for a little bit more. Either that or I'll fall asleep on the floor and you guys will be watching on clay sculpture for the rest of the evening. Right. I'll have to see a paint of this? Yeah, eventually. Is it guinea pig time? Is it guinea pig time? 3 a.m. says Tom. Oh my god. No, I'm here for a little while longer. 5 hours! Oh my god. I kept thinking, how am I going to fill up 3 hours? I'm just going to be rambling and poking on clay and not knowing what I'm doing, but it's just that feeling of when you can see where you're going in something and you've definitely got an idea of what you want to see out of what you're doing. Time is nothing. It's just like a day is nothing. So one has to constantly have reality checks. So I'm going to try to go on for another half hour at the very least, because I just need to. Well, to be blunt, I have some client work I have to get back onto. They're probably going, "What the hell is he doing?" Yeah, but this has been. I just love being able to share this stuff. It's just kind of. But I don't get to do it that often. I really don't. I mean, it's like usually you're on a gig or you're on a or wherever, and you're just working on things. A job, it's. Yeah, you're getting the work done, but generally no one wants to hear your story. You're just kind of there to do the best work you can for what they hired you for. So like I said, I'm happy that if I can inspire anyone or provide some insight for anything whatsoever, then I feel like I've made. It's nice to know that you've made a difference in some way.
Rewrite history? I don't think so.
Yeah, Chris Bolton says 3 in the afternoon down under. Jared says, I love how international it is. Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty cool that there are people watching from all points of the globe. They're all in my little hovel in Studio City now. Yay! And yeah, anytime anyone wants a bit of a guinea pig break and see Impy for a few seconds, I can definitely do that. Just yeah. Poor thing. I mean, after all these years, Impy still squeaks in terror when I pick her up, and it's like Impy, you know me. What the? Her eyes bug out of her head, and her front paws stick out like a jazz hands, But no, she's the most affectionate guinea pig I've ever had in my life. Someone says, Impy, yes. It's remarkable bladder control, I guess so. Yeah, no, it's not that I didn't drink that much, but coffee will tend to make its presence known soon, and I've been pretty lucky so far. No, I'm pretty good about it. And if I get involved in something, then you just you go beyond the body. Cold coffee. Oh, sorry. Pardon my sounds of. For everyone's amusement, here's the Cthulhu I sculpted for Gecko, which came out really nice. I just received the Nyarlathotep this week, the other day, and I was blown the hell away. They do such an amazing job. But yeah, no, it was fun figuring out. I mean, I did the original sculpture was in Sculpey, Super Sculpey, and I was tasked to make the whole thing come apart so they could mold it. So all the tentacles were maybe 2 or 3 to a section. 2 longer tentacles were separate. The arms, the wings. It's been a while since I sculpted bat-like wings, and so these were. The wings were a hell of a lot easier than I thought. I find that's generally the case with all these kinds of things. If it's something that I think is going to be a pain in my ass, it always ends up being the easiest thing. Well, not all the time. I'm not going to say that. So, so Paul thinks it's an easy. No, I found what it is like when you get a project and then you're thinking, oh my God, how the hell am I going to do this part? It's ridiculous. How the hell? You find you can handle it better because some part of your brain's been mulling it over for a long time, and generally speaking, when the time comes to get to that part of your head's kind of figured it out without you knowing it. So, and trust me, I can't fall back on that every time because I've had plenty of times where I thought I'd know what to do when I got to a certain juncture and fell flat on my ass. Oh, thanks regarding the Cthulhu. Jared says we had hamsters and gerbils. Yeah, excellent. Never had hamsters or gerbils. I've only had guinea pigs. Our family had 3. No, we had 4 guinea pigs growing up, and dogs. We had a couple of dogs. I miss dogs. Rachel says you should produce that Cthulhu. Well, in a sense, it has been produced. I think that I don't know what Gecko's plans are for it now. So I guess the first run is completely sold out. Actually, here's the thing. Tom from Gecko told me that they weren't planning to re-release that specific Cthulhu edition, although they were considering doing like a paint variation for a re-release. So stay tuned. Turn to the left a bit more, a bit to camera. Yeah. Why the heck are I a millionaire yet? I've been asking myself that question for a long time. Well. I mean, things are looking better these days. This year's been kind of funny though. Basically, I feel like I'm still in the after effects of 2018, which is an interesting year personally for good and bad reasons. My head went to some funny places and stayed there. What time is it? It's 12:19, I think. I'm going to go on for a little while longer than I'll have to turn in, but you will see Impy before the night is done. She's a big fluff muffin. I do want to get a different kind of creature too. Lizards, maybe. I don't know. I love lizards, but oh boy, has anyone here been to Bug Fair in LA yet? I've been there once, and it was amazing. Because not only are they showcasing these exotic arthropods, you can buy stuff there too. And if I had known, you know, I don't. The thing is, if I ever did want to buy a giant centipede, I'd have to read a hell of a lot about them before I even thought about that. Because, you know, they eat everything, and you know, they're huge. And the thing is, I've had moderately large centipedes before. 2 of them, to be precise, and both of them escaped into my house, and I didn't ever see them again, but I was as paranoid as you can possibly imagine for about a week. Shaking out my boots, flapping out my sheets, turning every shirt inside out. Centipedes. Jared says, I went to the Rattlesnake Roundup one year. Wow. We've got rattlesnakes out here in LA. I didn't realize that. Anthony Mestis from Sideshow runs into them fairly frequently around the premises of Sideshow. They're there. I mean, luckily they're small. But he told me that it was not uncommon for you to run into those guys around the office there. And well, it seems to me I found a baby one last year too, but little frogs and things. We'd always, whenever I'd be out at Sideshow, we'd always take a break and look for wildlife around the building. And at least when I was there, we didn't come across too much. But yeah, there's little frogs, lizards, of course. I myself have, I used to have tons of lizards outside my block, but they cut down all the shrubs on the path. And they just don't have room enough to roam and hide. But I saw a nice one today. If anyone's following me on Facebook, they can see I posted a lizard today. It was very cool about standing perfectly still when I got close to them. They freeze up, lizards. They will always, almost to the last minute, they'll stand perfectly still. So if I don't move, the human will not see me. Then I was like, oh shit, and they bolt. But this guy was cool. But we get certain kind of, we get like lots of hummingbirds. We get praying mantids here with some. Frequently enough, we can see them hanging out in trees and stuff. It'd be at a restaurant around the block here, and mantids would be just hanging out in the tree above us. But I want to see more stuff. I want to go on more wildlife hunts, looking for stuff. Saw my first tarantula out here a little while ago, a couple of years ago. Me and my friends were hiking up in Solstice Canyon, which is a beautiful area near Malibu. And I remember telling my friends about this dream I had about giant monsters appearing in the city, almost like a parade or something. And while I was relating this story, I was looking down at my feet, and walking right up the path, who gave no shits, was a big black tarantula. I'm like, ooh, I'm having a moment. That was pretty cool. I haven't seen a tarantula since. I mean, it's in the wild anyway. But God, I miss that. Just going outside and seeing creatures hanging out. I mentioned it before, but this was what I'm sculpting right now is something I've wanted to sculpt or draw or do some further exploration on for a long time now. So I'm really glad the opportunity came up where I could at least get this thing started. So even if I wind up altering parts of it later, just to more accurately reflect the drawing, I'm really happy that I've gotten this far with it. At least I can say, oh, here it is. Questions. Chris says, come to Australia and marvel at the crazy insects we have down here. I'd love to be there. I'd really like to. I need to travel more. I really do. I'm kind of stuck in Studio City for the past few years. That Chavant gets a beautiful rose color on camera when heated. It does. I know. I like. There's something about the stuff that trying to watch my it's 12:18, I think. Going for another 10 minutes maybe. These areas that I'm hollowing out right now, they're going to be filled with little swirling little nests of tendrils. So I'm trying to get this as hollow as possible for now, then put more clay worms in later and fuse those in. As far as the color, I have no idea what color this thing might be. It's obviously the bottom part of the face is going to be, lily white, and then what it blossoms up into as far when it starts to fray up here is that's something I'll have to figure out when I get to it. I love the sound of the traffic. It's the traffic sound out here is very calming. It's like the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah. And never fear, before I sign off, you guys will see guinea pig. MP. Chris says, you need to eat something, amigo. I do. What did I eat today? I don't know. I had kind of a sandwich thing earlier. It was pretty good. It was a Togo's sandwich place up the block from me. I usually grab a sandwich from. Yeah, someone emailed me a sandwich. Yeah, God, there goes my stomach too, right on cue. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Got a lovely view of the back of my hand. Time is 12:22. Wow, that's we're just kind of stretching this out. So I said I'd sign off at 12:30, but stick around. I'll after that I'll provide some guinea pig entertainment for those who've made it this far. Now this clay spaghetti I made, these little worms, have been a lifesaver tonight because, as I keep on mentioning, having to roll these things out constantly is a pain in the ass. So if you can have a nice, kind of either bowl or a couple of these damn things, they go a long way to saving your sanity. I did that on the thing. I remember we were working on that cat of a creature, the creature that appears at the end of the final film. And I just remember I just made an entire. It's still there. I think whenever I go back to ADI, there's always it's this cup of like little Shiflett worms that I made that there were these really thin things like this. But again, when you're under a tight schedule and you just need to get something really gnarly happening, it's always good to have like things for tendrils and sinew strands and what have you, because you can do all kinds of stuff with those things. Just Hey, Max. Spaghetti worm rolling intern. Well, you never know. Yeah, I'm getting kind of delirious. Not that I wasn't before, but you get the idea. It's a late night kind of. You get kind of punchy, I suppose.
Ah!
Not that I wasn't before, but hey, yeah. So what time is it? It's wow. Where are we? It's like this weird feeling of stretched time, which I don't mind, but. She is Swamp Monster's girlfriend. Oh, well, I'm not sure what the story is with her. All I know she's got a certain affinity for deep sea creatures. It's so weird. I literally did not have an idea of what the hell I was going to do until last night. And I thought, okay, that's okay. We'll see how that goes. I wasn't wanting to do that. And it's been a while since I've sculpted anything with lots of little tendrily details like this. So, thanks. No, I'm just happy that it turned into something, because I tell you, about half an hour before we went live here, right, my first abortive attempt to go live, I had just slapped clay on an armature that I had just slapped together itself. You know, I had, the epoxy putty was like waiting for that to cure. I just drilled this base together, and I was just sort of a basket case. I was like, what the hell am I gonna do? Do I know what I'm doing? Can I sculpt? What the hell? What's everyone gonna be watching me for? What is this stuff? But you know, like I said, I'm really happy everyone joined in and was enjoying watching me ramble on and make this thing, because it's kind of where it all comes together. You're just doing stuff, and at the end of the day, you've got a character. Oh, Alex is watching. Hello, Alex. Okay, it's 12:29, I think. So I'm gonna be wrapping this thing up, just for my sanity's sake. But like as promised, you will get a look at Impy. That's everyone's reward for sticking around for so long. Oh shit! But yeah, it's whatever this is. I think it'll make more sense like after, you know, once I've filled in the form, recessed things a lot more. But I kind of like where it's going. I think it's definitely it's a thing. So again, very grateful for all you guys. Again, thank you so much, Brandon and Jared, for setting this up, and I'll be right back. It's Impy. Kind of a rude awakening, I think. But well, I mean, if there's any parting words I have to say, it's like, I can look at her. She was losing her fur last summer. She had some sort of affliction, but it's grown back. She's filling in pretty well. She's a few words to say. But I should probably sign off now. Again, this has been fantastic. I hope we can do this again at a certain juncture. I'll be getting used to this whole process of doing live feeds and sculpting soon, I hope. So there'll be more of my zaniness to come. So again, thank you to the Shiflett Sculpting Forum and everyone there. This has just been fantastic, and I'm about to collapse. So I am going to be saying good night to everyone, or good morning to everyone. This is an international, global affair at this point, so happy to have everyone on board for this tonight, and I shall speak to you guys soon. I'm gonna be hitting the magic button. Hey, good night.